And I spoke to a clinical psychologist, Ann Rosen Spector. She provided some insight as to why it is so difficult to cope with unexpected tragedies like this one.
We expect when we go on planes, trains, boats, that things will be fine, and that there are professionals handling the equipment, and therefore they're going to do the proper job. And every time we have one of these tragedies, we find out that no matter how mechanically safe the equipment is, there's still human error, and error is unavoidable. And that feels terrible.
And what about coping mechanisms? What can family members do after losing someone so tragically and so quickly?
Well, I think the best thing for them to do is to pull together as a community, whether that's the community of their extended family, or to pull together with other people in the tragedy who have gone through the same thing. It's going to take a very long time, and in fact, it takes forever to get over something as tragic as this.
What about private grief, public mourning? We're seeing a lot of candlelight vigils. The process itself, getting through it, is that helpful to take part in something like that?
I think that's a very individual decision. I mean, for some people, it is very helpful to do things in a group, and for other people, it isn't. So I think everybody's going to have to find their way. Obviously, it will depend on the way they've done it in their family beforehand, and it will depend on their religion and their view toward exposing their feelings in a public or a private way.
Let me ask you about this. There's this tragedy and then there's the triumphs, and we see this in a lot of these cases. Of course, these frogmen went in, they rescued this woman in her 60s, a young man as well. Dramatic rescues. But I've read in places after events like this that many survivors actually suffer guilt and post-traumatic stress. What about these people who survived this? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we call it survivor guilt, and we see this in both man-made and natural disasters, where people are obviously very happy that they survived, but they often feel very guilty that other people, particularly other people close to them, whether family or friends, did not. And there's oftentimes a frequent questioning about whether I should have done something differently, or whether I should live my life differently now in some way to honor the other person. So it's very difficult because these things happen in the blink of an eye, and why would it be me and not you?
Ann Rosen Spector there.